fight preview. A very quick 5-minute fight preview. John Jones.
We'll do early analysis.
Early analysis. Very quick early analysis. John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson. We will do 2, maybe 3 more deeper analysis of this fight, including different perspectives, including about their first fight, their body types, and all these things. But early analysis, 5-minute analysis. John Jones returns from a long break that, although you can look at a little bit of footage of him training, and there is some, because these days we can peek into people's worlds. It's something they need to do for their own businesses to stay seen. So you can see a little bit about what he's doing. They're sparring with Holly Holm, play sparring, like tech sparring. But for the most part, we don't know what he's been doing. It's a really, really powerful thing. Now, Alexander Gustafsson, quite wisely, also has taken a substantial amount of time off because he looked at the world and said, I will gain more by waiting and trying to fight Cormier. Oh, wait, Jones is coming back? Okay, we'll fight that guy. Smart. Doesn't always work out that way. Happy for him that it did. There are early analysis for me to look at. 1 is the last fight, but 2 is that fight, why was it so close? Among the reasons is it shows us what the top-level guy, what a top-level matchup is like when the physical advantages of John Jones is met, countered, or equalized. And this is tricky to discuss because I don't want anybody out there. I hate it when I hear people who may not like John Jones, and if you don't like somebody, you look for negative things instead of the beauty in what they do. People like to say, well, John Jones just, is really long, or, he's very lean. Or they look at his reach. That is one tiny aspect. Or sorry, it's one legitimate aspect. That's not tiny. One legitimate aspect of that fighter. But there's lots of other things. Many other things in there. The way he's free to do things. Now, some of that comes from finding safety at range, but it's the freedom. He switches, he changes stances, he moves in different arcs and angles. He takes damage better than we give him credit for. He moves. He's got a mean streak. There's something dark in there somewhere. Not always, and I hope that he's happy in the world right now, and he's a family man. And there's all kinds of beautiful things about his life, I'm sure. So don't misinterpret this. But in combat, there's a dark streak in there. It's powerful. It's a very powerful thing. There's an element. There's a sadistic element that he wants to hurt you. That has to be there at the highest level, unless you can be, so artistically skilled that you don't need it. But even as I say that, Jones is both of those things. Right? So take an artist as elegant as John Jones and then add that. That's powerful. Great coaching. A coach, Greg Jackson, I think, has been his major coach, although I know Wink and some of the other ones have all been involved. Brandon and many of all their wrestling coaches. And who's our guy that we hung out with, wrestling coach down, I forget.
Wrestling coach.
We were, I forget where we were, and we were with him. We went to a casino.
Izzy.
Oh, yeah, Izzy, of course. Yeah. Izzy Martinez, one of the great wrestling coaches. All of these great people got Jones as raw clay. Incidentally, Platinum Mike Perry, also they got pretty raw. And he has a lot of these brilliant things that John has. Maybe not the same sort of free fluidity yet, although but that visceral nature, that ornery nature that was succeeding far better than he really had the specific training to succeed. Now look what Mike Perry's going to do.
Perry fights very freely. It's,
Perry that desire to fight, that fighting dog aspect of him, that gameness is there. That's all there in John Jones. So, man, seeing him back will be really great. Now, Alexander Gustafsson, tough. We've seen it. Daniel Cormier, John Jones, super tough. Also long, also technically good, also mentally good, also highly focused. These guys better be fucking ready to acknowledge what they're facing in each other. They also better both. No, they do. They do. Trust me, they do. That both of them are better than they were on the night that they took each other to the limit. Right? They're way better. Both of them are better. And if one of them isn't, that will be a difficult thing to overcome, because then he's going to have to realize more is going to be asked from him as a human, as the ability to Derek Lewis this and will himself to do it. And it's a scary fight, man.
And the thing is, they both fought previously, so
one
will know right away.
Yes.
You know? They'll identify that instantly.
Well, if they remember, it's hard to remember the truth of these things. Like, memories of fights sometimes are flashes and bits. Then you watch the fight on TV, and then you forge new memories that are not necessarily true. Like, but if they can remember what it was like going into round 5, as they get closer to that, someone in that fight is even better than they were. Maybe both. Probably both. Fuck. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good.
I'm just glad we get to see it at the end of the year.
End of the year.
Jones is fighting in 2018.
I'd say there's pretty low chance that I will be on location. It's like hundreds and $900, sometimes $1,500 a night for a hotel in Vegas that weekend. So I don't think any of my employers will be sending me down, and me and Mark can't afford to go. So wherever we are, maybe we target doing some kind of live stream during the fights that night.
We can do a fight companion for that one.
Yeah, we'll do a fight companion. We'll try to set up a fight companion for that one, the 28th, 7th, or 8th, or 9th, whatever it is.
See if Elias is free.
Yeah. Elias, if you're free, come and let's do it. TSN may want me in the studio, but maybe there's a way we can do it. We'll figure it out. But we're running out of time, so I'm sorry. All we could do was early preview. Is that what we call it? Early preview?
Yeah, early analysis.
Early analysis. And wasn't a lot of analysis outside of me marking out and trying to get a few of the early goalposts in place of what we might see, but we'll go much deeper into that. But next week, we will do a water where we're going to find a couple of interesting topics to examine, true martial arts topics to examine. We're going to look at some other fights, some fight previews, but we are also going to, this will give us a little more time to look at Khabib and Conor and the cultural connections to these things. That's all real. This, we got countries and politics and religion and human behavior and conflict, and these things are all there, and they shouldn't be overstated when you're walking down the street and that's all you're hearing. And I've been staying out of it on a very heavy, very intentional way, because I'm about more positivity is better for me, and I think for a lot of us, and I'm trying to see what I can learn. But even just things I'm looped in on where people just have my name in, some of them have been going on for 5, 6, 7 days on Twitter. Just an argument.
Just reading the YouTube comments on the videos that we're posting. Yeah, it does. They don't even care what we're talking about more. No. It's just an open.
It's another place to argue.
People to argue about Islam versus this versus that,
which is fighting versus this, which is politics versus this, which is country versus this, which is and a lot of but he did it first. But he did it first. Even like, Conor threw the first punch. It's like, I know if you just joined only for this one, this piece connects back to something we did earlier on Enjoy the Hostilities on the long form. But that's a crazy, that you can cherry pick any one of them to show the ridiculous nature of it. But going into the fight, there were multiple meetings held on all sides over and over again that no one will enter that cage. They had security there, only the fighters, and I think whatever one coach was approved or whatever had been approved was in. Everything else was outside. Guards at the. So if somebody's jumping, if you're, and I'm on neither side. I love both of these. I put Khabib up on the front of my YouTube podcast today because I'm so happy for him and that fight, and that was a wonderful fight. So I'm not on either side. So whichever one it was, if Conor jumped out into the crowd, and while he was out, so his guys wouldn't even be coming in to hug him. They're jumping in over the fence when they've been instructed not to come in. You'd assume they were coming to attack you. You'd have to be. Already the first move has been made. This was mandatory. Any one of these on either side, Conor did this, Khabib did that, either side, everybody is wrong. And I promise you that this is so if you look back. And I know once we add all of these volatile things in there, it gets harder, but no one, man, in Ireland themselves, and this is something that the Irish fans and McGregor and his people should see, the battle between Protestants and Catholics has been going on for how many generations? Yeah. There's such similarity. You ask either side, it's like these guys did this thing this long ago.
Yeah, and I don't want to be mistaken because I'm probably wrong, but I think that's even extended out to the IRA versus the Orangemen. Like
all of it.
It extends out to so much more.
On all sides, there are good people doing bad things. On all sides, and sorry, you go a step further. On all sides, there are good people doing bad things who believe that the other person caused it. And the other people are doing bad things because they're sure this guy caused it. And that's always the case. And nobody's correct. There's nobody
wins.
Nobody wins. And it's not like somebody is, but this guy did this. It's like, if you could just release that. If you could just release that and go, whoa, they feel exactly the same way I do. Oh, you suddenly see a brother in them. You see a fellow human being. If somebody spits on you and you can find your way to go and hug them, I swear to you, life will be better. But anyways, if you just joined the early analysis on Jon Jones versus Gustafsson, well, then you've seen this going on everywhere, so you know what's happening. But I apologize for going off on a tangent. But if you've been here for the entire podcast, Enjoy the Hostilities, I thank you deeply. It is an honor to be able to have a long-form podcast where we try to think these complicated things out loud and dare to go into places that will be wrong often, in hopes that they'll circle us back to somewhere where we'll be right later. Thank you so much. We'll do one early next week, depending on when you're watching this. Might be up already. But until then, enjoy the hostilities, my friends.